Watch them charts start soaring. Crypto to a Lambo, it's a foreign. I've been all around the VeVe verse, we been touring. FOMO, fear, missing out while we scoring. On me millionaire, 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 millionaire. Cause you know when it rains, it be pouring. We was all investing, they was snoring. Now look at my collection, it's enormous. On me millionaire, 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 millionaire. Bullish on that cryptocurrency, and you know it. Ever since the pandemic, we been really on it. Bullish on it, cop it NFT every morning. On me millionaire, lifestyle never boring. Meet me there, on the moon, it's important. Thank you to everybody that supported. Now we poppin' champagne, that's important. And we kept playing the game, ain't aborted. Solid diamond hands are rewarded. On me millionaire, millionaire, millionaire.
It's quite cool, like when you start to learn about this process.
What's up, my homies and fellow NFT collectors? We are back for the second ever VeVe debate night, and we got a couple of OGs in the house for the debate. I'm calling this the Battle of the OGs. Before we get into tonight's topic, let me go ahead and introduce our debaters. You probably know both of them. Like I said, they're OGs. First up is my man, Hello K, a VeVe YouTuber. I'm going to go ahead and link his YouTube channel in the chat. And as we always do on debate night, I'm going to ask you, Kay, when did you get into VeVe? What is your most valuable NFT? And what's your YouTube channel about?
Yeah, sure. So firstly, when I got into VeVe, so I got into Omi in February last year, and I got into VeVe March last year. So about a month after. My most valuable NFT, I would probably say, is the Walt and Mickey, as I think most people's are. And what was the last question?
And the last question is, what's your channel about?
Oh, yeah, my channel, yeah. So if you actually look up through the whole channel, like it used to be about software engineering related stuff, and then it became crypto, and then specifically focused more on NFT projects in the past, I would say, 8 to 9 months.
Nice. And Hello K is one of the first YouTubers that I watched when I first got into VeVe, long before I ever started doing YouTube myself. Triple OG, and as well as Mr. Crypto Khaki, Triple OG as well. I'm going to show you guys his Twitter page and link it in the chat if you guys want to follow him. He's very well known for, of course, all of his knowledge. He used to be known as the Todd Father for probably the first 2 months I was in VeVe. He was just known as the Todd Father to me. He's always telling me to buy more and more Todd McFarlanes, and I didn't listen. I only have one of them. And he's also well known in the Twitter spaces, always giving out great insight. What's up, Mr. Khaki? Just like Kay, let me know when you joined VeVe, what your most valuable NFT is, and what your Twitter page is about.
I first joined VeVe on February 27th. Of 2020, of course. My most valuable is the secret rare Spider-Man.
Ooh.
I had two. One's gone. And then I got lucky, got that on the drop. Just luck, man. And then got another one a little further down, and then ended up trading in a ultra rare Dragon Girl for a Walt. So I can kind of, say those are two. But my most valuable one is Todd. Y'all already know me, because Todd gonna walk all up and down. You know what I mean?
And how many Todds do you have? I'm just curious.
13 now, but of course I'm still donating. And Dan Carruthers, we just got to set up a time to get the community to sign it. Send it back and forth and get a bunch of signatures on it, and then send it over. I was waiting on a mutable switch over, but now that all of that is just a matter of time. So 12 really, 6 really, because my nieces and kids, and they all have one in their personal vaults. So really, I have 6 that I can play with.
Gotcha. That's still quite a few. That's especially at 10K right now, Pop. What's up, everybody?
Yeah, I know.
Thanks for coming to the debate tonight. Like I said, it's our second ever VeVe debate night, and tonight we're talking about a very interesting topic that a lot of people are talking about in the community, and that's what happens when MTL hits VeVe. And if you don't know what MTL is, it stands for Money Transmittal License, and that's the ability for users to cash out their gems to fiat, or just to cash out your gems to regular money, have it sent to your bank account. And the question is, what's going to happen? Are the prices going to go down? Are the prices going to go up when MTL begins? And as always, we're going to start off with opening arguments. And my man Kay is arguing, and he's arguing that the prices are not going to fall whenever MTL starts. So, what's your reasoning behind that, Kay?
Yeah, sure. So I'll start off with just a little bit of background. So for people who maybe didn't do any kind of stock or crypto investing beforehand, there's a very, very common phrase that we call buying the rumor, selling the news. And that's really important because VeVe hasn't surprised us with the MTL. We've known about it for a long, long time, right? So the people who wanted to sell, they've already started selling off the app. The people who wanted to save up gems to prepare for that eventual predicted dip, they're holding gems waiting for that day. So this price movement has already been priced in, and we've seen this time again. Another example with Omi specifically was the Uniswap listing. People were saying, oh yes, it's going to go on a DEX, the price of it's going to shoot up. And knowing that news in advance, people were stacking Omi, and a lot were stacking it because they knew it was going to shoot up, and then they're going to sell it to take profit. And what ended up happening is on the listing date, the Omi price actually just tanked because of that price was already priced in. So the same thing's going to happen with MTL, in my opinion, is a lot of people, they've got their gems saved up. They're going to wait for the MTL day to buy all the stuff because they're predicting it to drop. But that's going to have the opposite effect. Now, on top of that, there is a very big counter argument against VeVe. And it's one of the biggest ones I've heard from ETH whales. And that is, I'm not going to put my money into something where I can't take it out. So I'm not going to buy into VeVe because if my money's locked up somewhere, I'm losing liquidity. What if there's an opportunity I need to be liquid? So that MTL, that's going to defeat the number one reason I've seen for ETH whales for not getting into VeVe. So those are kind of like the two main reasons that I predict isn't going to cause a crash with MTL.
Very good reasons, absolutely. And my man Crypto Khaki is tasked tonight with arguing that the prices are going to fall when MTL begins. And keep in mind that whenever we decided to do this topic, it was a topic that was decided on by the community. And both of these guys wanted to argue that prices wouldn't fall, and I had to talk Mr. Khaki into doing it. And keep in mind that he's arguing to a bunch of VeVe users that prices are going to fall.
Yeah.
So take it away, my man.
Yeah, y'all don't hold this against me, man. This is what y'all wanted, so I'll play devil's advocate on this. But there are some things that does concern me, and I think that the definition, everybody has a definition in their head of what crash means. So it's the drop in price, I think, is going to happen. How long it stays down will determine, in my opinion, if there's a crash or not. And I do think that at some point after MTL is open to the masses, that we will see a significant drop. And it's just based on patterns. I've been every drop since February, and I'm a person that watches the market. I watch how people, when it was 10,000 people on the app, I watch them do the same thing as when there was 600,000 people on the app. And then 1 million came, and I watched the same exact thing. And we saw the same exact thing happen today with Disney's announcement. So to me, I'm just arguing the point that as easily as somebody can come and raise the floor on a particular NFT, and as easily as someone can come in, and if there's no drops happening, get a significant drop, we see the floor raised significantly. I think that we will see the same patterns that we see when we hear Disney, when we hear Marvel, a big FA drops. It doesn't take much to drop that floor. And when floors start to drop, people react the same way. And that's why we are able to draw support lines and resistant lines in every type of investment. That's how we're able to chart it, is through people's patterns. And I don't see that changing at all. So my side is that we will see people taking profits, and that will affect the floor. But we'll get more into that once we start to cut and open this thing.
Absolutely. And I think you're right with those patterns. There's always going to be whales with a bunch of gems stacked up, ready for those dips so they can buy them up. All right, so One of the topics that I want to get into tonight when it comes to whether or not market prices are going to crash when MTL begins is whether or not your opinion changes if the ability to convert or sell NFTs for OMI or OMI to NFTs comes before MTL. So if that happens, is that going to change whether or not you think the prices are going to crash? I'll let you go ahead and start this time, Khaki.
Yeah, I think a major man, the size of the drop depends solely on OMI and to MTL. If OMI to MTL is after MTL, then yeah, we will see a bigger drop in the price. Because for me, and Kay right about the people that are trying to cash out have been stacking their gems and stacking their gems. But anybody in this chat thread right now knows how hard it is to hold on to gems when you're seeing deals and you're tuned in the market and you're hearing people talk about, you know, oh, this is going to go here, this is going to go there, it's going to go to the moon, and you're sitting on, let's say, 20,000 gems, and you see someone talk about something that's sitting at 1,000 gems and it's going to go up, you know, to 10,000. You know, 90% of the people on this app are not emotionally trained to not FOMO and to, you know, not be afraid of FUD. So OMI to NFT. So this is my basis on that, right? Once we get OMI to NFT, once we get the MTL, this is one of my biggest reasons on why I feel like OMI to NFT is after that we will see a significant drop. Is that once there are a lot of investors that care nothing about actual collectibles on this VeVe app, right? A lot of them want to invest in the coin because they're crypto people. They don't even care about NFTs. The majority of people that invest in crypto invest in the projects, and they're not doing a lot of NFT purchasing. They'll end up doing it later. But there are a lot of people on the outside, and we saw this when we had that big run up to our all-time high. In 2 weeks, we went from 0.003 all the way up to over a penny from people buying into the coin. They found out we couldn't pull cash out, and they all pulled out. They believed in that project, and it wasn't a fraction of what it is now. So when we start to talk about MTL and they start to roll it out to the first real group of people that are saying, hey, this is a real thing, this is a real thing, what do we think the price of that OMI is going to do? I think it's going to shoot up, and people are like, okay, now I can invest in this. This is a real thing. They're on the blockchain. They're real NFTs. The data is tracked, and I can cash out. So now this is something that I feel comfortable with investing in, and you're going to see that OMI price go up. Now, peep this: the bulk of people that come into VeVe come in from word of mouth from us. We're bringing in regular non-crypto people into this app, and their mentality isn't OMI first. We educate them into saying, hey, this is probably a bigger investment over here in the coins, but we slowly educate them into that. And I think by the time MTL comes, people are going to want to get OMI, and they see that price going up. They don't have thousands and thousands of dollars sitting in their bank in fiat, but you know what they do got, because they've been investing since February, March, July. They got $2,000, $3,000, $5,000, $10,000, $30,000 worth of collectibles that is expendable, that they can just go in and say, hey, I can't buy 10 million OMI right now fiat wise, but I can cash out these collectibles right now and still have half of my vault sitting in there, and you know, they'll FOMO into it. That's just regular pattern. I know I want to cash out some more of my collectibles to go into more OMI because it just makes more sense for me. So if that transfer, not able to transfer NFTs straight for OMI, they're going to cash out, and if they cash out, that price is going to drop further and further and further. And I'll tell you, it doesn't take much to drop that floor. At 1 o'clock today, I was looking at buying another secret rare Black Panthers comic. It was sitting at $1,300. 2 o'clock, the news had already hit everybody that Disney was dropping. And it went from 48 listings to 52 listings. And the price at 48 at 1 o'clock was still sitting there at $1,300. And then the other, just 4 listings dropped the floor down $350. I don't know where it's at right now, but it's probably under $950. And that's just 4 people listing. You see what I'm saying? So think of the thousands and thousands of people that are going to be trying to cash out when this thing hits. The saving grace is going to be when, how they roll it out. If you're only letting a few thousand at a time, then it might not be that hard. But it doesn't take much to drop these floors at all, man. You know, it doesn't take much at all. So I think it drastically affects if OMI to NFTs is there. We might not see that big of a drop because they won't be cashing out fiat wise. They'll be, you know, cashing out OMI wise. And then, you know, the same thing, people with OMI are dying to get in, and with ETH are dying to get in and flood in and buy that floor right up. And I think that kind of averages itself out.
Yep, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I can see the ETH whales changing over their ETH to OMI in order to scoop up floors. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Just so you guys know, at the end of the debate here in about 30 minutes, I'm going to open up voting so you guys can vote on who the winner is, and the winner will receive a red OG Devil Bunny. And you can vote on the person you think who made the best argument, or you can vote on the argument that you think that you agree with more. So Kay, what do you think about what happens when NFT to OMI or OMI to NFT comes? If it's before MTL, are prices still not going to crash as you are arguing?
Yeah, so what I'll do is I'll actually add an extra layer on top of that. So before mass exchanges, because that's going to be a big player. So if MTL comes first, I don't think that's going to crash prices, as I said earlier. There's, like, you know, David, you and Dan have always been saying they always considered KYC a barrier. And one of the reasons why MTL isn't going to cause the price crash that people predict is a lot of people, a significant amount of people in VeVe, they just, if they wanted to cash out, they've kind of gone through the kind of outside of the app way. They've cashed out already. The ones who don't want to cash out, they're like holding on to their stuff, specifically for OMI to NFT, and I'll touch on that in a second. But there's just too many barriers to cashing out via MTL. You have to KYC, there's going to be, you know, they've already said, and there's been leaks, that there are some fees. We don't know what the fees are yet, so I'm not going to say what exactly, but I've seen some crazy numbers with the fees because, you know, there's this whole kind of $1 to $1 to OMI because economy doesn't really get $1 for every $1 spent. So how do they make up? They have to kind of increase the prices and foot some of the bill themselves. There's just too much friction with MTL for someone to effectively use that as a cash out system. However, OMI to NFT, that's one where I would say it wouldn't cause a price crash, but it would cause extreme price volatility, especially if we only are still on trading on a couple of crappy exchanges. Because, and this is kind of like, you know, after having been in, you know, VeVe OMI for a year and getting familiarized with the community, especially, you know, some of the whales in VeVe, they kind of put themselves out there. They were a bit low key at the start, but now they're very open. And I started to understand a bit more of their mindset. So what we're going to see more of is if OMI is doing very, very well and OMI's pumping, and they know, you know, it's getting to a point where people are going to start taking profit. A lot of these whales, what they're going to do is they'll use their OMI to scoop up the floor of certain NFTs. And then when the price of, so these NFTs, you know, there's something that's quite stable, sits on the floor, they can raise the floor of that. When the price of OMI starts to dump, and now OMI feels a bit oversold, what they can then do is sell the collectibles that they've just basically secured and sell that for OMI. And they're going to get dollar-wise a lot more OMI. And they can just keep repeating this. So they can sell the collectibles, get OMI, wait for OMI to pump, then buy the collectibles, and then just repeat. And they can just make easy, you know, 10, 15% every cycle on this. And so that's what I'm saying is we may start with a dip, we may start with a spike, but we're not going to kind of just go in one direction. We're going to go in both directions, but it's going to be much more extreme movements. We're going to see some
I can see that.
ridiculous day trading opportunities on VeVe because of OMI and being tied to the wider crypto market now as well. So that's kind of my view on it. I don't think MTL is going to be a significant factor, but OMI to NFT, it will be a significant factor both in increasing the value of, you know, the NFTs as well as decreasing them depending on how the market fluctuates.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad you mentioned that cycle of buying the NFTs for Omi, then selling them back for Omi, because I was wondering how that's going to affect the market with Wells doing that. I don't know how prevalent it'll actually be. Again, what's up to everybody in the chat? A few people are asking what MTL stands for. It stands for the Money Transmittal License, and it's pretty much just the ability for VeVe users to cash out their gems to money. All right, so another one I wanted to get into while we're talking about what's going to happen when MTL hits is the effects we saw on MTL hitting NBA Top Shot and Recur today. We saw that MTL, they just announced it, and directly afterwards, the passes fell in price by a lot. So I'll let you start, Hello K, with what you think about the precedents that have been set by other NFT platforms on MTL.
Yeah. So I think this is a very interesting one, right? Because correlation doesn't necessarily mean, causation. So the recur passes were dropping in price anyway for many reasons. Their MTL, it may have played a role, but I don't think that was the significant factor. I think even if they didn't have MTL recently, the recur price passes would have continued to drop just because of, there was a lot of hype initially, and whenever something's been overhyped, you're going to see just as big of a correction as well. And also, there's been I guess not really necessarily anything delivered, and people are kind of seeing the opportunity cost of other projects. And this is always going to happen. It's happened to VeVe as well. We saw the huge dumps that Omi had when, MTL was delayed and, their marketplace was delayed and all this stuff. However, yes, Recur, they did allow some form of cash out, and I think maybe that did contribute. But I would say the Recur project, it doesn't have its own natively listed token as far as I'm aware. And so that's the significant factor is, if they did have their own native token, then we could make a bit more of an informed decision, just like how Omi is tied directly to VeVe NFTs. But, that's their only way of cashing out. You can't convert it to, their own native token. And so that kind of makes people a little bit more hesitant, I guess, with, their version of MTL. But I would say overall, it's very hard to judge with Recur as an example, just because, the passes were naturally decreasing in price anyway. With Omi, because Omi is tied to the VeVe NFTs, it's not going to be the only way of cashing out, the MTL. We're going to have Omi to NFT. So I would say overall, VeVe can't necessarily be compared, and I don't think it's going to suffer in the same way that, Recur project will with, the ability to liquidate your funds. That's my view on it.
Yeah, that makes sense. And Jeremy Simpson actually said in the chat that those recur passes, the prices are starting to come back up a lot already. And I know a couple of people have questions in the chat. If it's related to the topic, then I will ask those as well. But before we get to that, let me let Khaki reply to that. There was a NBA Top Shot also, and I'm not sure. I think you were in NBA Top Shot a little bit. I know I was, and I got in right before they introduced MTL and all the prices crashed. Do you think that is comparable to VeVe at all?
I think it's directly related. And even so with Top Shot, I'm not too familiar, but with Recur, because I own a pass and have sold and bought passes before with Recur. And that's just it, like I say, it's just a pattern for people. You will take profits, man. And with VeVe, there's such an opportunity to make money. People are going to be paying their house note, sitting in the market, just flipping. I saw a guy today, I was bidding on this ultra rare comic book, and it was like a 3-digit, it's only four of them on the market, and it was like a 600 mint. And I had it set that I wasn't going to go over $420. Well, another dude that I onboarded into VeVe was also bidding on the same one because he called me up as I was, the clock ticking down from 20 minutes. So I told him I would just sit out. I let him know my strategy of getting it and told him, I would put up to $420. Well, he put $355. The next guy bid it at $361, right? And it timed out and he lost it. The guy won it at $361. Now this guy turned right back around because I was just refreshing the low mints. He turned right back around and listed it for $430. And I was like, huh, that's only $10 more than what I listed it for. And I went than what I was willing to pay for this previous one. And I bought it, not even realizing this is the same one that just went up on auction in 30 seconds ago that I missed. So I ended up buying that same one for $10 more than the bid that I was going to put in anyway. And it just lets me know that there's a whole other game over there being played. They're not looking to collect. They're not looking to, I don't know if he's doing that to stack gems up because at this point, Disney wasn't even mentioned. I don't know if he's stacking it up for a bigger purchase, but there's a lot of buying opportunities within VeVe. And I mean, we got 1.9 million people. And I would like to know the ratio of people that came in as a collector or people that came in because they looked at their family member's phone and saw, hey, this is worth this amount. You just stack up now, and then when MTL comes up, you're going to cash out. My nephew's going to cash out as soon as MTL comes because he wants to get a gaming computer, and he's sitting maybe at about $6,000 or $7,000 worth of that. Of course, his mother is going to have to, KYC it, or he'll send it to me, and I, transfer the money over to him like that. But I just think that there are a lot of just regular people who have been introduced to this platform as a means for money. So, and Top Shots was the same thing. It had that same amount of hype on it. How many people was buying Top Shots that don't even know anything about basketball? It's probably a lot of people, because they looked at it as a buying opportunity. And I just think that VeVe, that there are more, because this is something that is geared, a lot of the crypto people, there's not that many of them that I know have left OpenSea to come over to VeVe to do this collecting thing. When Omi comes, yeah, they may come then, but I think there's just a lot of regular day people, man. And I know people that we talk to in these spaces. I know myself. I know other people that I've onboarded into, and it's a lot of regular Joes in there that are sitting on a nice bag right now. And when MTL comes, man, I just, there isn't a lot of people selling in Telegram. It's the same people over and over. If you've ever been in there, it's the same 30, 40, maybe 100 people selling over and over and over, and there's a lot of people that are scared to trade out. So when you got a safe way and you telling me all I got to do is KYC to get, you got KYC for anything within the crypto market, that's open to the masses, like crypto.com and Coinbase and stuff like that. And that's going to be their introduction to it. You know what I mean? So I think people are not going to really care too much about KYC, and enough of them. It may be a 50-50 split, but even then, that's 1 million people out of the 1.9, and it'll probably be 3 million or 4 million by the time MTL actually comes to the app. That's just a lot of people that are sitting on gems, scared to cash out the non-promoted way, and they're just waiting and stacking. And then once that comes, then yeah, I'm gonna list this one, I'm gonna list this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one. And even if you got 30,000 out of the 1 million, that's a very small number. Even if you got 30,000, because right now it's only 8% of, we have over 4 million NFT collectibles, and we only have like 8% of that in the actual marketplace. I wonder how much of that, what does the floors look like when it's 20%? That's just another 10% or another 8% of people that are holding. Now you're talking about, doubling the supply, the supply that's in the market, going from 58 and going from 130 to 260 being listed, going from 45 to 90 being listed. And, these people are going to take profits, man. And if you give them an opportunity to pull money out, I think the vast majority of people will cash out some of their collectibles. And I think the amount of people that will cash out will be enough to create a pretty decent ripple within the marketplace for a pretty decent size. And we're not even talking about you we're not even talking about the drops that happen in between that will also contribute to the floors going down. Even more people that aren't even, listing to cash out. They're just listing to get the next drop. You factor those people in. There's a lot of variables going on, man. And it's like I say, it doesn't take much to drop the floor on collectibles. And we are sitting on 10 and 20 and 5 and 8 of multiple collectibles. And I think we're all just waiting on Omi but when they dangle that carrot of MTL and cashing out for fiat, people will take their initial investments, I think, and you're just opening an opportunity. You'll see how much people really truly believe in what they collected, or how much people are looking at it as an opportunity to put some food on the table, or pay a bill, or go get a car, or get a ride in lawnmower, because that's pretty dope to be able to do that once that availability is there, to be able to cash in on an investment like this. And I think we will see that the same way Top Shot saw it. People went and bought riding lawnmowers and cars. You know what I mean? Those stories are out there. And Recur, people may not believe fully in Recur. I don't know what the deal with that was. Like that's like one drop. Are they 1 or 2 drops in? I'm not sure. I haven't really been following with them. I just got the pass. But I mean, they don't even have anything on the market and people are cashing out. Like it's just patterns. To me, that's what I feel like is going to be happening with that. You give them an opportunity to cash out, even if it's 20%, it'll be enough to drop the market. And I don't think there's many of those users that are sitting on gems right now.
Right. There's lots of people, maybe not a ton, but plenty of people out there who have in the app who have accounts worth 50 to 100,000 or more, and they make 30,000 or less a year. So it's kind of hard for them not to cash out, especially if they have a family or something. So I can see that point 100%.
Yeah.
All right, guys. One more topic I have pulled up is the recent price drop. So this was brought up by a member of my Discord server. Now we're talking about before the golden moments were announced about 3 or 4 days we had of price drops in the market with no big drops being announced, and people were confused as why. And he's wondering if it's possible that is caused by the people who are already in the beta MTL program, them cashing out. Maybe they have whales signed up for the beta program, and those people have been cashing out, and that was causing the last market drops we saw in 4 or 5 days before the golden moments were just announced. I'll let you start, Khaki.
I don't think those whales are moving with a different mentality, man. I don't think they're selling and causing any drops right now. I think the whale, they are they're more in it long term. I'm pretty sure they will pull profits. If anything, I would think that the whales are waiting on MTL to buy up some of these dips. You know what I mean? And wait later on down the road when they can pull some real profits or start to push it off for Omi. And maybe, and I'm naive. Like I say, man, I'm a noob here. I can only speak on the stuff that I've been privy to witness. And I'm a pretty closed circle kind of guy. If it's not in spaces, then I watch a lot of videos and stuff, but I'm not in the back channels understanding them. Kay would know a whole lot more on that topic. But I would think and I just try to put myself in their shoes. If I'm pulling out hundreds of thousands of dollars and selling cars like some of these whales are, we hear the stories. I'm not going to be selling it right now when the market is down. Those guys mentally, they've been in it. They know when to sell. They're buying in the red and selling in the green. They probably did a lot of selling when we had that early bump at the turn of the year in January. I would think they would have done more selling then because everything was so high up and they're like, yeah, this is unsustainable. So let me start to offload some of these stuff and then come back, keep those gems and wait for it to come back down and buy even more of the same things that I got rid of. Like me, And the way I would be looking at it, and the way that I approach VeVe, limited funds and limited collectibles to play around with, like that's how I would be thinking. I wouldn't be selling and dropping the floors right now. If anything, a lot of these whales are out there buying up these dips, trying to protect their investments.
Yeah, absolutely. And I definitely don't know how whales think. I wonder what you think about it, Kay. Do you think this is really a theory that it's the whales that were put into the beta MTL program, or do you know of anybody that's in the beta MTL program?
So I don't know like specifically name wise, but I know which group of people it is. It's like the exact same group of people that did the alpha testing for the VeVe app before they rolled it out for like the beta testers and publics. The same group, probably because they've been around for a long time. They're trustworthy because they've already done some stuff, and then they're going to bring in more people. Now, just specifically whether this is causing the market crash, I could say, very, very confidently it's not. Partly, so there's a couple of reasons. One is to do with regulation and compliance. So VeVe in itself, one of the things is, it is, for the most part, from a business point of view, it is centralized, right? The actual NFTs themselves, some people say there's, not real NFTs, whatnot. Like that side of things is, on a blockchain, decentralized, etc. But from a company, the company itself is centralized. And by being a centralized company, you have to follow certain regulations, compliance, etc., things like that. I think maybe our images have vanished from the stream.
I'm trying to fix it.
Oh, okay, I'm back. Yeah. Basically, for example, with the buybacks, right? Because they're a platform that has to follow loads of regulations, because they're dealing with big companies like Marvel and Disney as well. From a compliance point of view, they're not allowed to announce, hey, we're doing a buyback, because that kind of falls into this whole concept of, when you're buying back your own tokens, you're not technically supposed to, announce that when you're doing it and what amount, because that's going to affect the market. That can cause you to get into some issues. So they have to do it very silently, which is probably why they don't talk about it. So the same thing goes with the money transmitter license. They can't freely allow a small group of people to have the advantage of freely moving money out. What they can do is they can allow them to give them permission to remove a fixed amount. Like, we want you 10 people to cash out $100 on this date, and then we're going to test and see, what it does to the servers, and with our payment systems, we want you to cash out via this credit card, via this one. We want you to cash out to your PayPal rather than bank. They do all these things, and they do it in a fixed amount, because that's a variable they need to control. They won't just say, here's the MTL, feel free to cash out as much as you want, whenever you want. It won't work like that, because that doesn't really serve, it doesn't serve the purpose. So they're definitely not cashing out to the point where they're crashing in the market, because the VeVe team knows that's something that could get them into trouble as well. So they probably were very explicit with the beta testers. And I think the testers, they don't want to abuse this privilege. Otherwise, they're not going to be asked to do more testing. So I think, just for the credibility and for, respect to the company, they're not going to be abusing it. What I do think caused the price is the same thing. The price dip is the same thing that always happens. The team went and in a tweet said, oh, we have something spicy coming at the end of the month. I think that's what did it. But also, we saw the same thing happen last time when I think it was the Andre Jick video, where he did some little images with stars and things at the end of his video, and people were like, ooh, stars. That's something you find on a Pokemon card at the bottom right. I think Andre Jick knows that they're releasing Pokemon, and then this Pokemon rumor started spreading, and then that caused the price crash. And this end of this month is Pokemon Day, and I've been seeing it circulating, people saying, I don't care what you say, it's guaranteed we're getting Pokemon. I'm like, no way are they going to drop it this early, man. The app can barely handle the current users. They don't have the Omi. They're not going to drop a big IP until they have Omi utility program. That's just, that's just the thing. And the new drop system, no way are they going to drop a big IP with the current drop system. There's so many issues around that. And, it's going to carry on happening. The team's going to announce something. People are going to take it out of context because they haven't got that much information. And then that's going to start doing the rounds. And you see the VeVe Twitter specifically saying, don't take this out of context. It is not I think they even tweeted and said, this is not the P word. So, you know, that's not saying that they won't ever get Pokemon. That's saying that this specific announcement, the spicy one, is not related to Pokemon. That makes sense. So, yeah, I think really this is just another cycle of people hyping up and over speculating. It's nothing to do with whales cashing out.
Yeah, I think you're right about the MTL beta testers, but I mean, that one tweet Alex gave said that we do not have P, almost like it was definite. We don't have Pokemon. I know a few people sent me messages like, does that mean we definitely don't have Pokemon? I don't know. What do you guys think? That wasn't a definite note to the P word?
Alex is a master trollsman. I have watched his level of troll. His level of trolldom has ascended about 8 levels since he's been on, and he's doing it now where he's rating things through chili pepper emojis. This is a 2 out of 4 chili pepper. Like, so he. I don't think he would. He's smart enough to know to never give anything that anybody could say definitively, because we dissect everything as a community. I mean, take it apart. Alex says there's definitely no, he don't want that kind of pressure on his head. I guarantee it. That's just taken out of context. And if he knows that people are looking at it like that, he'd probably go back and take down the tweet if I know Alex, because he's very careful. This team is ran. I mean, you look at how other NFT platforms are ran, and then you look at how VeVe is ran. These people are on their stuff, bro. So like Kay was talking about, I didn't even think about, you know, the with the beta testers and all of that, which is why it's just amazing to hear guys that are on that level of knowledge and understand what's going on in the background and hear them talking. It's just good to have that kind of people, those kind of people in the community that's sharing information like that, because I didn't even look at it like that, but like, VeVe is ran is I mean, surgical precision. And this success that we have right now could only be here because of the way that they run their company. And I don't think that Alex would ever jeopardize that that level of precision through a tweet like that. You know what I mean? So I would just chalk it up as saying, yeah, he didn't really know. He didn't probably think that people would take it like that. Or maybe he did, you know, because he's part troll. So
he's just having fun. I hear that.
Yeah, that's it. Just enjoying it, man.
We're going to be voting for a winner pretty soon. Before we do, we're going to do a quick lightning round. All right, this is going to be your question. When MTL does hit, a week later, how much have the prices dropped? What percentage? 50%, 20%, 10% overall on the market of the prices of the NFTs? Kay, I'll let you go first. What do you think?
Yeah, I think overall, like, so could you re-elaborate that question?
Sure. So like with the day MTL hits, we're gonna take it 1 week later. A week from that day, the total market, all the all the NFTs on the VeVe app in the market, have they fallen 10%, 20%, 50%, 0%?
Oh, right. Okay. So yeah, like I've always said that you can't necessarily so I'm a person who says you can't time the market. It's all about how much time you spend in the market. Like, it's very difficult. And again, predicting how much something will drop and how much something will go up, that comes down to too many factors that you can apply to the stock market, you can apply to, crypto market, because there's mass liquidity there. It's not in its own enclosed system. It's truly hard to say, especially when something has high amounts of scarcity, because technically we've seen it already, right? Let's be honest. I'll use okay, what's a good example? Okay, I'll use Pride as an example, right? Like, yeah, Pride's a good NFT, first Givenchy NFT, but that's probably more relevant a bit. Like, the price that it's at now is more relevant now with the current user base. Back then, when a lot of NFTs were barely breaking 1K, like, we were seeing Pride at 2K, 3K. And we all know the obvious reason for why that is, right? There was someone buying up a bunch of times. So with something that's so limited, you can kind of do weird, unnatural things to the price with a group of slightly rich friends. And that's something you can't necessarily do with a large market cap crypto, unless you've got a lot of money and a lot of very rich friends. So I think a lot of this kind of technical analysis is very, very difficult to apply to VeVe. So yeah, you can kind of, after time, if there's no kind of external influence, like a few whales manipulating something, and it's just pure natural, like the hype is completely gone, like the season 1 collectibles, like Barter is a very good example, because that one you can actually use technical analysis on, because a lot of people have forgotten about it. It trades in the exact same range between 900 to 1.5k. That's the range it trades in. And if you go back and look at the price today, I guarantee you it's still in that range. Even with the new golden moment drop and things are crashing, it will still be in that range. That's just the range it trades at, because season 1, it's only got about 1,000 editions, quite low, and there's no hype around it. Like, it's just a good season 1 collectible, which is why it trades in that range. I think Rainicorn and the Adventure Time ones, those kind of do a similar thing. But yeah, I would say, I don't personally see collectibles dropping, all across the board at a fixed amount. I think there's too many factors external that are going to affect the price. When MTL comes out, I imagine some collectibles are actually going to pump heavily, just because there's the big brands, let's call them the Grail brands. A lot of these big ETH whales, a lot of them, they look for something that's a Grail, but they've been put off because of the lack of MTL from getting into VeVe. Once that's out, they're going to start going for it. Those are the ones that we're going to see pump. And I think I'm someone who said a while ago that in my opinion, golden moments are the best NFTs in VeVe. And I was saying this openly, like, December time last year. And we're starting to see that proven more and more as the market kind of dips with these new drops. The golden moments are still pumping. And they've been going consistently, like R2D2, all of them. The Walt is like very consistently at about 45, approaching 50k, and I think it's going to keep going. Like, I can realistically see 100k for Walt this year, and I'm pretty conservative. So,
He's very conservative.
Yeah. So I think that MTL isn't going to be the deciding factor overall on whether things are going to pump or dump. I think it's going to be, which individuals who have a lot of money, what they're going to be targeting, and I think it's the grails that they're going to be going for, because those are the ones that are going to be holding value.
Definitely. You're right. That's going to be super hard to predict. Even if it was a cryptocurrency, it'd be hard to predict. But this is a whole new genre, NFTs. It's like a year old. Trying to predict this is almost impossible. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and start the voting. Like I said, you're going to have about 5 minutes to vote on who you think you won tonight's debate. My man Hello K is arguing that prices will not crash when MTL begins, and my man Crypto Khaki is arguing that prices will crash when MTL begins. After 5 minutes, we will have a winner. And while we're waiting for those 5 minutes, to you, Khaki, do you have a percentage that you think it will drop, or I guess Kay's probably right. Yeah. You really can't predict.
Yeah, no, I'll be quick. I'll make it easy since Kay had a hurricane round. I thought it was a lightning round. He took that for like 5 minutes. 30%.
30%.
30%. Okay. Non-blue chips, non-golden moments. These are just your regular, your regular collectibles that are out there. But there are some, like Kay said, there are some out there that are exempt from market correction prices. So, but I think the majority, if we would have did an average, if we took those out of the picture and the Todds and the Resos and that out, I think it's sitting at about 30%.
That sounds about right. I know a lot of people in the chat were saying 40 to 50%. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's very conservative. But that 30% goes into new wallets, never to be traded again. And that supply gets ate up, I think, over the next month or so. And then we start to see a push like never before. And, a lot of stuff is going to be in place around that time. And I think it's major green light on a lot of this stuff that's in the app right now. And that's what I'm collecting for, is for that smoke clearing time after MTL.
Absolutely. We got a lot of people in the chat complimenting you guys on the debate, and also that they're big fans of you guys. So But while we wait for
Awesome.
the next few minutes, it's going to be about 4 more minutes. We're going to ask a few lightning questions. We'll start off with Kay on this one. Let me know what's the number one NFT on VeVe that you want but you don't own yet.
Oh, okay. I'm going to be honest. It's probably going to be the Secret Rare Spider-Man. I had the opportunity to buy it at about 1.5k, and at the time I only had 1.6k gems. And I talked to some of the people who have done very well on VeVe, like Brock, and gem management was like one of the things I learned. And I knew at the time if I had bought that Spider-Man, I wouldn't have enough gems to then buy the other stuff that was coming out and kind of work with that. And I even today, like I still keep the same mindset. If there's a significant IP, but I know it's going to cause me to use up all my gems, then I probably won't go for the rarest rarity. I bought so I got the ultra on the drop, and then I bought the other 3 myself. And if I had more gems, like maybe 3k, then yeah, I would have spent the 1.5 on the Secret Rare Spider-Man. But I never could have predicted it would blow up this much. Like it just went way beyond my expectations. But that was kind of like a bit of an edge case. Like most NFTs I've seen on VeVe, they don't do what the Secret Rare Spider-Man did. So I would say, yeah, like me, probably the Secret Rare Spider-Man, just so I can also complete that set, because I've got 4 out of 5 pieces for that.
Ooh, that's tough.
Yeah.
What about you, Khaki?
For me, it's the Golden Moogly, bro. Just because it was an OG piece for the OGs. It was the original OG piece back in the day, and it's calling me, and I'm almost at the point to where I might do something drastic just to hold it. And it's really just a flex piece, man. And I'm holding this one for the people that was back in March and February who was looking at that thing like, yeah, y'all crazy. That's like my Bevel and Good piece within the app. So Golden Moogly for sure, man.
Right, all right. We got about 2 minutes left on the voting right now. Crypto Khaki has a strong lead, 67% to 33%. One more lightning round question for you guys. Can you give me your price predictions on Monday's drop? The Disney Golden Moments. We got, was it Daisy and Donald Duck, and then we got Lady and the Tramp first appearance. I'll let you start, Khaki.
Damn, man, I think this, bro. What are the mints?
I'm thinking, they haven't said, right, but I'm thinking it's going to be like the Elsa size, 12,000 each, but there might be a
So
rare too. There might be a 6,000 also.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Right. If they do 12,000, if they do 12,000, this community is smart, bro. They are picking up fast, and they're doing it based off of what current things are doing right now. And I think a lot of that is baked into that early price, man. I think we'll be able to get those pieces probably at about 1,500 for the first, 30, 40 minutes. And then it runs up probably to 3,000 because it is a new. And then you may be able to get it again at that 15 to 18 mark again. But I just don't see them under $1,000, even at 12 and 13,000. I'm hoping and praying that they do, because then I'll be able to get multiple. But I just don't see it. This community is evolving, and the floors are also doing the same thing as they do that. Get smarter.
Yep, and Golden Moments have a precedent now too. What do you think, Kay?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna say, so assuming it's similar sized mint to the Frozen, the Elsa and Mickey hat, then I would say, so my prediction is the Lady and the Tramp, that's gonna be probably a rare. No, not rare. That's gonna be an uncommon. And I think the Daisy and Donald Duck is gonna be a rare. And so I'm gonna say the Lady and the Tramp is gonna be around about 1.5, 1.6k. And I think the Daisy and the Donald Duck is going to be about 3k. And I'm saying that because that's based off of popularity of like the characters and films. Some publications actually rank Donald Duck surprisingly higher than Mickey Mouse in terms of popularity. But he's up there. He's like kind of like the in popularity, like the rival to Mickey. So, and this is also going to be an FA. The lenticular cards are FEs. This will be the FA of
Oh.
Daisy and Duck both together. So you're getting two FAs.
Yeah,
That's
huge.
pretty mad.
Didn't even realize
That might put another premium on top of what I was saying, bro. Because that's double FAs. Like, yeah, that's pretty big, bro.
That is
Yeah.
big.
That's pretty big.
All right, we have a winner. We have a winner for tonight's VeVe debate night. It is Mr. Crypto Khaki with 69% of the votes. I guess the people in the chat are pretty pessimistic and believe that prices are going to fall whenever MTL begins. And Khaki did a great job of explaining his side. You guys both did awesome on the debate, and I appreciate you very much for coming onto the channel. I'm going to be sending over Khaki his OG Red Devil Bunny for winning tonight's VeVe debate night. And afterwards, guys, there's a really good Twitter space that Minnesota NFTs is holding with Rational Asset. He's hosting a doctor from CM University in Bangkok, and they're going to be talking about VeVe NFTs. So thanks, everybody, for hanging out with us on VeVe debate night. We'll have another one next week. And thank you, Mr. Khaki and Mr. K, for joining me as well.
Appreciate it.
All right,
Appreciate
see you guys
it, man.
later.
Well, thanks for having me.
Okay.